You're listening to the Get to Know TRICARE podcast, your resource for information to help you get the most out of your TRICARE benefit. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a bonus episode of Get to Know TRICARE. I'm Calvin Keller with the Defense Health Agency Communications Division, Benefit Education and Research Team, and I am your host today. Today, we're going to talk about the changes to the TRICARE pharmacy program. This includes the retail pharmacy network and the 2022 pharmacy copayments. Joining me to talk about these changes is U.S. Public Health Service Officer, Commander Tisha Robertson. Commander Robertson is a pharmacist with the Defense Health Agency's Pharmacy Operations Division. Commander Robertson, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm super excited to be here.
Excellent. So Commander Robertson, listen, so let's get started. First, can you tell our listeners about the recent change to the TRICARE pharmacy program? Especially, let's start first with the retail network pharmacy change.
Sure. So as of December 15th, CVS Pharmacy will be rejoining the TRICARE retail pharmacy network. Walmart, Sam's Club, and some of the community pharmacies have, however, left the network. This will be an adjustment for some, but this switch is going to accommodate many more beneficiaries because CVS Pharmacy has nearly doubled the number of locations of pharmacies compared to Walmart and Sam's Club locations. This means that 90% of beneficiaries have access to a network pharmacy within 5 miles of their home. You might also have heard that about 3,000 community pharmacies did leave the TRICARE network this year. There's no reason, however, to be alarmed because over 14,000 other community pharmacies aren't going anywhere.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. But what happens to beneficiaries who have a prescription at a pharmacy that left the network? Do they have to now go get a new prescription from their provider?
So, great question. If their pharmacy was impacted, they should have gotten notifications about transferring their prescriptions to a new pharmacy from Express Scripts, which is the TRICARE pharmacy program contractor. In addition, beneficiaries can also contact Express Scripts, who will give them recommendations on how they can fill their prescriptions at a new network pharmacy. Plus, they can use the Express Scripts app or go to tricare.mil/network pharmacy to find a network pharmacy near them.
Okay. So now, does this change also affect those with specialty and limited distribution medications?
Another great question. Yes, it does. In this case, a beneficiary should have received a letter and a call from Express Scripts explaining how to transfer their prescriptions to a new specialty network pharmacy. In addition, beneficiaries can also contact Express Scripts, who will give them recommendations on how they can fill their prescriptions at a new network pharmacy.
Okay, got that part. So now let's circle back for just a moment and let's talk about the pharmacies that have left the TRICARE network. So now what would happen if a beneficiary keeps their prescription at one of those pharmacies?
So if a beneficiary does keep their prescription at one of the pharmacies that left the TRICARE retail network, they'll be subject to paying the full cost of the prescription up front because that pharmacy is no longer in the network. They'll also have to file a claim for a non-network reimbursement, which applies after any applicable deductibles are met. This is something we do not recommend doing at all. It's easier to use a TRICARE retail network pharmacy instead of a non-network pharmacy. Again, you can find TRICARE network pharmacies by going to tricare.mil/network pharmacy or by using the Express Scripts app.
Okay. So now what if a beneficiary decides that if they live near a military pharmacy or if they opt for home delivery? How is that going to work?
So in those cases, using a military pharmacy or home delivery may be the cheaper option. It's always best to contact the military pharmacy to see if they carry the prescription first before going. This is a good time for me to remind listeners that military pharmacies are going to be the lowest cost pharmacy option. There you have the option to get covered formulary generic and brand name drugs for a $0 copay. You do pay copayments, however, when you use home delivery. Also, as a reminder, some brand name maintenance medications can only be filled twice at retail pharmacies, and then they must be filled at a military pharmacy or home delivery. You can learn all about this, both the military pharmacies and home delivery, at tricare.mil/pharmacy.
Now, Commander Robinson, since you mentioned copays, let's talk about that. Is it true that pharmacy copays are going up in 2022?
So, yes, that is true. The National Defense Authorization Act, or some may know it as NDAA, for 2018 established a copay increase schedule that increases every 2 years up to the year 2027. I do want to emphasize that although your copays are set to change on January 1st, 2022, this isn't because of the network changes we've been talking about. Congress actually set the pharmacy copay several years ago. Your TRICARE pharmacy copays last changed in 2020. These copay changes won't apply to active duty service members who will continue to pay zero copay for their covered prescriptions. Also, the copay changes won't apply to dependent survivors of active duty service members who died while on active duty or medically retired service members and their dependents. They'll all continue to pay the same 2021 copayment rates. The changes affect prescriptions filled at retail pharmacies and through home delivery. This means, effective January 1st, 2022, you'll pay anywhere from $1 to $8 more to fill a prescription, depending on the kind of drug and where you fill the prescription. If listeners want to learn more about changes, they can go to tricare.mil/changes.
All right. Well, Commander Robinson, listen, thank you so much for joining me today and giving our listeners the full update on the changes to the TRICARE pharmacy program. Well, that's going to do it for today's bonus episode of Get to Know TRICARE. For more on the TRICARE pharmacy program, visit tricare.mil/covered services pharmacy. You can also download the TRICARE pharmacy program handbook and TRICARE pharmacy program overview fact sheet at tricare.mil/publications. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and check out other TRICARE episodes. For Get to Know TRICARE podcast, I'm Calvin Keller. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with another edition of the Get to Know TRICARE podcast soon. For the latest TRICARE news, be sure to visit our website at www.tricare.mil. And don't forget to contact your TRICARE contractor, a local military hospital or clinic if you have questions or need assistance.